Dilip, you're going live, yeah.
So we'll start in maybe 2-3 minutes. I think people are joining.
Dilip, I think we can start off.
Okay. I hope everyone is able to see the screen. Good evening to everyone. Thank you for taking the time on the Friday evening and joining this session. My name is Dilip Nathani. I am Vice President Pre-Sales within Cloud4C. And little bit background about myself. I have around 25 years experience in IT, mostly in SAP, yes, different roles in different consulting companies. And I've been working in the Microsoft Azure cloud platform from last 4 years. So today we are going to walk you through the Microsoft WVD new product which they have launched around 6 months back. So that is called Windows Virtual Desktop. We'll go through that. Next slide. So a little bit about the agenda, what we are going to cover today. We'll first cover the overview about the what is Cloud4C. I think most of you might be knowing what is Control S. Some of you might not be knowing what is Cloud4C. So we'll do the overview about Cloud4C. Then we'll cover the WVD business case and what is the value of the using WVD. Then we'll go and discuss about the WVD architecture. Some of you who are from a technical background might be interested in that. And then we will do the WVD demo. And then I will share you what are the offerings we are giving from Cloud4C side. So before we start Cloud4C overview, just to discuss, I think we are all into the different situation, the pandemic, about the COVID-19 is going on. So there are all the people, all the employees needs to work from home. So it throws the different challenges to the employer. So just to have an interactive session, we are going to throw a poll to you. What is the most challenging IT issue during this pandemic for your organization? So if you can give your vote into this, so I can align my session based on your requirements. Okay, I can see the security and infrastructure availability, little bit in employee productivity also. If there is something else, you can put it into the Q&A window. What else is there? So we are interested to understand that also. What is the something else apart from these three options which you are facing during this situation? Yeah, so I think almost 33% all. Yeah, so thank you for sharing your votes. Okay, sorry, there was some issue in the laptop. Okay, so just to start with, what is Cloud4C? So you already know that what is Control S. Control S is Asia's largest tier 4 data center. We are providing the data center and co-location services. We have our own 7 data center across India, which are tier 4 data center and can give the SLA of 99.995%. So Control S was founded in 2008, and Cloud4C was started with an idea that all the cloud services will be provided from Cloud4C. So whatever the private cloud offering which we give on our Control S data center, and all the hyperscaler like Azure, AWS, and GCP. So all these services are part of the Cloud4C, which we are giving. So I will cover what are the different services we are covering as part of the Cloud4C. And on the right hand side, you can see that big little innovation. This is something we started in 2019, last year only. And this is something we are covering: the big data, AI, and machine learning. All the new age services are part of this big little innovation. If you have any question, you can type in the Q&A box, and I will be happy to take it once the session is over.
Dilip, I think there's a person called Mr. Mukesh Vora. He's raised his hand. He wants to probably ask a question.
Sure.
Just allowing him to talk. Mr. Mukesh, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening, Mr. Vora. I think I need to unmute. Okay.
Yeah, I think he has to unmute.
Okay, so maybe
Okay, we'll get back later.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Right. So Cloud4C is a born in a cloud. So we started with all the cloud services only, and this is on the private cloud, our Control S data center, and the Azure, AWS, and GCP service. Right. So we are serving around 3,500 customers worldwide, across 25 countries. Our employee strength is around 2,000 people globally, and we can provide the highest SLA, which is 99.995%. And we are growing around 60% year on year. So from 2000 employees, we have around 850 people who are certified cloud expert across Azure, AWS, and GCP. From that, around 650 plus are Azure certified. So you can see our credential. We are Microsoft Gold partner, and we are also Azure Expert MSP. So Azure Expert MSP is something, the highest level of certification granted by Microsoft, and this is available or granted to only around 60 partners worldwide. So we are one of them, and we got this Azure Expert MSP around 6 months back. And we are also certified with AWS. We are consulting partner with AWS. So we can provide whatever your Azure, AWS, or GCP requirement using our Cloud4C. And on the left-hand side, you can see all the different certifications in the SAP and the security and all the hyperscaler, right? So we have almost like 75% of 2000 employees are part of this center of expertise. So one of this thing we do with SAP is the HANA Enterprise Cloud. So we have around 175 enterprises of SAP HANA Enterprise Cloud. So SAP HANA Enterprise Cloud is the something like SAP contract with the customer, and in the back end, we actually support the end-to-end HANA environment for them. So we are supporting 175 customers like this. Apart from that, we are supporting more SAP customers also through direct engagement. So we have almost around 550 plus SAP success stories. So as told, we are available in 25 countries, 40 locations. So you can see the different countries where we are available. So you can see almost we are available in all the continents. We are available except the Africa. We are available in almost all the geography like Asia, Middle East, Canada, US, Latin America. This all we are available. So if there is a global company who has a requirement in different parts, we can give that. Yeah, so this is a snapshot of all the Cloud4C serving offering on Microsoft Azure. So we can provide the whole security services coming from global compliance, security operations center. Then we can provide the SIM solution, which is Sentinel, and then encryption and the hardware security module and all, right? So all these security services we can provide. Coming to the industry specific framework, we have almost around top 15 banks as a customer, and we provide the services to the banks, insurance, healthcare, and government and PSU. On the right hand side, you can see SAP and Azure. Because of our SAP expertise, almost 550 customers, so we are also getting into the SAP and Azure. We are getting a call from a lot of customers who want to move to the Azure, SAP to Azure. So that is one of the things where we are focusing. And you can see the DR on Azure, enterprise application on Azure, the container or the Azure Kubernetes services, the migration, application and DB modernization. Then you can see the multi-cloud, DevOps, AIOps, infrastructure as a code, automation, hybrid cloud services, where you can get the Azure stack and all. And then the advanced services like AI, ML, and IoT, right? So today in this session, we will cover the Azure Workspace collaboration. So Windows Virtual Desktop is part of this services out of the Azure. So we are serving around 3,500 customers globally. From that, around 60 are Fortune 500 customers. So in this second session, we will take on the Azure WVD business case. So why customer will be interested in using the Windows Virtual Desktop and what is the value of that? Before that, we would like to have one poll. Does your organization use any virtualized desktop solution? It can be WVD, like in this session we are discussing, or it can be a Citrix or remote desktop services, Microsoft, VMware, Horizon, or it is Amazon Workspace. Anything if you are using, please vote so we can get the understanding. Okay, I can see almost 83%. Okay, so it's coming down. Okay, maybe just 5 seconds more. If remaining people want to share it. Yeah, so I think we can see almost 74% are saying no. The 21% are using maybe Citrix and all. And there are 6% attendees are saying that they are using WVD also. So yeah, so that's great. So we'll move to the next slide. Right. So understanding the business case for the Windows Virtual Desktop, right? So first one is the security and regulation. So when you are using a virtualized Windows Virtual Desktop on the Microsoft Azure platform, all the data is residing in the Azure securely, right? So there are security and regulation. So in this current pandemic situation where all the employees are forced to work from home, there are critical organizations like financial services, healthcare, and government who has the very sensitive data, and they cannot allow their employees also to use it in their laptop or other devices from home, right? So in this situation, what they can do is they can use something like a Windows Virtual Desktop where all the data will be secure in that. Employees can log in through any device and then log in into the Windows Virtual Desktop. They can do it, all the work, and then they can save the data in the Azure itself. So all this verticals like financial, healthcare, and government, right? So they are one of the candidates for the Windows Virtual Desktop. They can use it. The second one is the flexible workforce. Let's say there are temporary employees or temporary contractors who are joining in your organization, and you don't want to take a pain into the getting new desktops or laptops, assigning them, right? So you can quickly get the desktop for them into the Azure as a Windows Virtual Desktop. It can be from merger and acquisition are coming, short-term employees, contractors. Some of your employees might want to bring your own device, so they can use it from any devices, be it their own personal desktop, their tablet, or the phone. You can use it Windows Virtual Desktop literally from any device, right? So, and it can be a scenario of a call center where the people are working in a shift and you don't want to give them, let's say, three laptops. You can have it a one Windows Virtual Desktop in the Azure, and it can be shared by the three guys in three different shifts, right? And then there are specialized workload like design and engineering. A lot of employees in the engineering companies use AutoCAD and all, right, which needs a lot of graphics card, a lot of memory and all, right? They might not be using this high-end desktops or workstation full time. They might be using it in a 1 hour or 2 hour in that particular day, and then they are not using it, right? So in that scenario also, what you can do is you can give a all this high-end workstation in the Azure in a shared model. So all these engineers actually can use it whenever it is required, right? So it's a economy of scale. Whenever it is required, basically all the workstation can actually scale up to that requirement, be it one employee or the 10 employees, right? So these are some of the business cases where you can use Windows Virtual Desktop. right? So coming to the value of the Windows Virtual Desktop, right? So first one, it delivers the only multi-session Windows 10 experience, right? So you can, this is a Windows desktop version. It normally does not allow more than one user, right? But it's only in the Azure you get the option of multi-session Windows 10. So you can basically share the single desktop with multiple users if they want to do it. Then it optimizes the Office 365 Pro Plus, right? So because your all the Office 365 data is also residing in the Azure only. So when you're having a desktop also there, it basically give the optimization for you. You can migrate your Windows Server RDS environment, desktop and application. So you can bring the whatever Windows Server or RDS deployment you are doing, right? Same licenses you can bring into the Azure and you can use that licenses. And then Azure is a public cloud, right? So you can deploy and scale in a minute, right? So if there is a new requirement of, let's say 100 desktops you need, there is a project going on, or it's, let's say there is some pandemic situation, people cannot work from office, you can have the 100 desktop within a day, right? Within a day or maybe less than that also. It's possible to have it. Right. So let's go into the detail of the different the value addition. You can see the best user experience, enhanced security, simplified management, then Azure benefits, then superior economics, cost effective, flexible, and operation expenditure, and then strong partner ecosystem. So I will take one by one all of this and I will try to explain it, the value of the WAD.
Dilip, I think we have a question from someone.
I think I cannot see. Okay, I can see the question from here. Okay, so question is, does this support high-end graphics card for special CAD application? Yeah, so yes, so basically what you need to do is you need to deploy a VM with the graphics GPU based workstation, and then it can be used for the CAD application. So you can have a AutoCAD application deployed into that WAD, and then it can be shared across all the engineers. I hope I answered the question. Okay. Right. So the first, right, you can get your platform of choice, right? You can use any device, be it a Windows, Android, a Mac, right, or Linux, or if you want to use a HTML browser, you can use any of this, and then you can connect with the Windows Virtual Desktop. I think there is some question once again. Okay, so there is a question how we are maintaining the security of this VDI. So yeah, I'll come to that in this section. Yeah, so there's a question on the RDP also. So I'll cover that up in the next slides. Right, so the Windows differentiation, right? So you get the very similar to the Windows experience, and you get the extensive support of the devices, the enhanced protocol, right? If you want to use security like Windows Hello or dynamically adapting bandwidth utilization, everything is optimized for this Windows Virtual Desktop. And then you get the containerized user profile using the FS logics. So what happens is that all the profiles are actually gets attached to the local WAD, and you get the fast experience. Then the native O365 performance you get, and then with Teams also, if you are using it Teams for your collaboration, that is also will work very smoothly on the Windows Virtual Desktop. And if you want to use a OneDrive, that is also can be integrated very smoothly with the Windows Virtual Desktop. So OneDrive can be one option where your users can share the all the files once they work on the either Word or Excel or anything, and then they can share it, save it on the OneDrive. Right. So coming to the second value, which is with enhanced security with simplified configuration, right? So you can use the Azure AD, which is inbuilt into the Microsoft Azure platform. So Azure AD can give you the different security option like multi-factor authentication and the conditional authorization, right? So you can use that for making your security tight coupled. Then reduce attack surface. So it uses something like a reverse connect. When your users get connects, it is not directly connected. There is no public IP assigned to the WVD. So it reduces the attack surface. So I will show you that into the architecture. You get the granular access control. So multiple admins can be assigned for role-based access control. And then you get isolated user sessions. So all the sessions are isolated. So coming to the user experience, right? The efficient and simplified management, you get the best user experience for the desktop as well as remote application. You can create a single host pool, or you can publish multiple application. And then you can have something like when you are doing a pool, actually, you're creating a user pool, you get an option of creating a breadth and depth mode. So what happens is in the depth mode, the users are logging into the first desktop first, and then when it is actually getting performance is getting, let's say you have already defined some threshold of CPU and memory, then the user moves to the next desktop. So that is called the depth mode, and that is for the cost optimization, because you are using the first desktop whatever is possible, and then only you are allowing users to go on the next desktop. So next desktop will get started whenever there is a requirement. Otherwise, it will be in shutdown mode, and only when the number of users are increasing, all the new workstation or desktop will get started. So in this mode, actually, you can save the cost. Then there is a other mode, which is a breadth mode, where what will happen is more for a performance. So let's say first user logs in, it logs into the first virtual Windows virtual desktop. Second will get the second one similarly. So let's say if you have 100 users, first 50, let's say you want to have a 50 desktop to be configured. First 50 users will be assigned to the 50 desktop, and the 51st will go into the first desktop as the second user. Right, so there are two different modes you can use, the depth and the breadth mode. Right, so you can do all the VM management. If you are familiar with the Azure environment, you can do it. Backups and all, everything you can do it. Troubleshooting and all third-party value-added services are enabled through APIs. Right, so all these Azure services are available to Windows Virtual Desktop also. Yeah, so it is built on Azure, so it is standardized, global, and secure cloud. So let's take an example that you are a global company and your users are scattered across different countries, right? And you want to have a Windows Virtual Desktop. So you can do that. You don't need to use single data center, Azure data center for that. What you can do is wherever the users are located, the nearest Azure regions. So there are 61 Azure regions. It is available in most of the countries and geography it is available. So what you can do is you can use the load balancing, the global load balancer, which is called the Traffic Manager in Azure Traffic Manager. You can use that. So let's say the Indian employee logs into the Windows Virtual Desktop. He gets redirected to the data center in India itself. So near. So he gets the best performance using the load balancer or the Traffic Manager option. Then coming to the security, right? Microsoft has the 3,500 full-time security professional, right? So any security needs, be it any vulnerability, malware, or anything, right? So they take care of this. They work 24/7 in different countries, and they make sure that any new vulnerability which is been found, it has been taken care. It takes care of 6.5 trillion global signals daily. Then Microsoft spend almost $1 billion annually for their cybersecurity investment. So you can see that, right? So in a single company cannot make that much investment for making their security tight, right? So that is something beauty of the public cloud, where you can invest and make sure that this is very secure. And then you have a 90 plus global compliances, be it a SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3, PCI, payment card industry, or it is a GXP pharma or the MITI, right? So Azure Cloud is certified across all the compliances which are required. So all the government company and all other pharma and other all very restricted verticals, right? They can all leverage this because of the compliances. Right. So coming to the cost savings, the infrastructure which I discussed, right? The breadth and depth more. And then Windows 10 with multi-session also, it reduces your cost. You get the cost-effective compute and storage. And whenever you don't want to use compute, you can shut down. Then you can get the flexible network provisioning, best value compute rate. You decide whatever is required for your user, and based on that, and you can scale up whenever it is required. So you don't need to invest in a very high-end desktop for the user. You can start with the small one, and then let's say the user is not does not find it sufficient, then you can scale up, right? And then it is an OpEx mode also, right? So there are two different modes. Either you reserve the desktop for a 1 year or 3 year, or you can do the the pay as you go in a hourly mode, right? So same discussion is here. I think one person asked for the RDS scale, right? So you can bring, if you have a remote desktop services in your on-premise right now, you can bring that licenses into the WVD also. So I will show you that into the architecture, how you can use that. Right, so also the labor cost, right? The lower labor cost, because the compute and storage and all this thing, right, is being managed by Microsoft. And even the PaaS services, which I will show you in the architecture, how the full architecture is simplified. All the different services which were actually required in the remote desktop service like RDS in the on-premise is actually made as a PaaS services. So you don't need to manage any of these services like brokerage and all. This is all been given by Microsoft, and they will manage all this thing. So I will show you that into the architecture. Okay, I think there are some questions. Let me see.
There are quite a few questions.
Yes, high-end graphics card, it supports. How you are maintaining the security of this VDI. So I hope you can use the Azure firewall, and also Microsoft is keep on coming with the new approaches, because this has been published 6 months back, and they are coming with the new scenario for the architecture. I hope the RDP question is clear. I will make it clear in the architecture. What is the contract period? So contract period, I said, right? Either it can be 1 year RI or 3 year RI, or you can basically use as a pay as you go. And we also have some offers going on, which I will discuss in the last slides.
Dilip, I think there's a person who wants to talk called Nayan Shah. I'm just allowing him to.
Okay.
He has a question.
Okay.
Nayan, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and talk.
Yeah, I think his question is, shall we restrict users to download data on OneDrive to their own devices? Yeah, so you can do this, all this. You can apply the policies on your Azure subscription, and then you don't allow them to save it. in either their own OneDrive or maybe on their devices. So that can be possible. Yeah, Ubuntu also you can do it. You can use the Ubuntu also. There's a question, is there any difference between cloud, Windows instance or virtual desktop? So virtual desktop, I told you, right? So there are multi-session and other options are also available. And you are actually logging into a virtualized desktop environment where in a Windows instance, it will be more mainly the Windows server will be available to you. And it will not be like a desktop environment, right? So if you want to use it as a desktop, then you need to use Windows Virtual Desktop. There's a question on Tele on cloud instance for my finance team. Then do we need Cal for all the finance user who need to work on Tele? Okay, so for any application, whatever licenses, I'm not sure about how the Tele licenses are working, but it is similar to your Tele into the one desktop. So let's say Tele needs only the one desktop license, then multiple users can log into the same desktop and can use the Tele. Yeah, so if you have 7 users and they are using all the different licenses, here you can make sure that, but the login will be one only, but they can use the Tele whenever it is required, whenever it is free, that particular user can use the Windows Virtual Desktop. You can publish the Tele application into the desktop and then you can use it. I hope I covered all the questions. Linux, yeah, you can have it. Do we need to procure thin client type to access DAS? No. So you don't need a thin client to access the DAS. You can use your normal desktop also or your personal desktop. WVD is mainly for the organization where they can publish all their license application like AutoCAD and all. And then users in this pandemic actually log into that desktop and can use these applications. Okay, so one more question. Suppose we are running with old infrastructure having low configuration, CPU and RAM, etc. Do we need to upgrade those to access DAS? So you need a very thin client. Even with your mobile, actually, you can access the WVD. So that I will come up into the next slide. You don't need a very high infrastructure to access WVD. You just need to have a browser access, and through browser itself, you can log into the WVD, and you can use whatever applications are published into that. So I will show you the demo also. There is a demo part also where I will show you that. Okay, so I think I covered all them. Okay, so let me go to the next slide. Right. So there is extensive partner ecosystem with the virtual desktop expertise, right? So if some of you are actually trying on the Windows Virtual Desktop now, you might be seeing that there are a lot of PowerShell work you need to do, right? So there are some of the partners like Nerdio you can see, right? So Nerdio actually has built some kind of a graphical user experience to actually install the WVD environment with the Active Directory. So you can use that. So if I actually go through the full slide, so there are WVD approved provider. You can use WVD with Citrix. Let's say you have a Citrix environment on premise and you want to just add some Delta 100 desktop more. So you can actually integrate with Citrix, and all the desktop can either be managed through Citrix or maybe the Windows Virtual Desktop. Or it is applicable to VMware also. So if you have a VMware Horizon into the organization on-premise, it is there. But because of the current pandemic situation, you want to have a more desktops, then you can use to integrate with Citrix and VMware. And then I told you about all these value-added partners, like there are different partners who brings in different expertise. Maybe it is a customer environment assessment, they can do the monitoring or the application layering, management, printing, or application compatibility assessment, remediation, right? So all these partners have their own solutions, and these are all available in the Azure marketplace. So you can go through that. There are some solutions which I'll be covering in the next slides, typical to this all these different partners, where you will get an idea of which partner solution I can use. Right, so that is all about the business case and the value of the WVD. So now we'll touch upon the WVD architecture. Before that, I think we have a poll. Yeah, so the poll is, do you use any of the virtual desktop solution from below? So I think there was, it's a slightly duplicate question, but it is in more detail to get the understanding. I can see some WVD is already there. I think, yeah. RDS is there. VMware also, there are some people. Okay, someone has raised his hand. One second.
I'll just allow them to talk 1 second. Sally, you can start talking. You can unmute yourself and okay.
Hi, Sally.
You need to unmute.
Yeah, either you can speak or maybe you can type the question also. Okay, meanwhile, I will just a question, can we integrate local Active Directory with this? Yeah, so we can do this. I will show you in the architecture.
Yeah, I think Sally can talk now. I think his mic is right. Sally, you can go ahead. We're not able to hear it. Yeah.
Is that by mistakenly I clicked on the hand, so you can just continue with your slide.
Okay, sure. No issues. So, okay, there is one more question, multiple session about, right? So there is no such thing that you can allow only 2 or 3. So it will be automatically taken care based on the threshold you are setting, right? Either CPU or memory, right? When the threshold is breached, the users will go into the next desktop. So that is how the Windows multi-session will work. And there is a question, can we integrate local Active Directory? Yeah, we can do it. And there is a question, if we don't have Active Directory, will it work? So Active Directory is required. Only the Azure Active Directory will not work because you need to put all the desktop in a Active Directory domain actually. So you need either Active Directory or you can use a PaaS version of Active Directory also, which is available, which is called ADDS, which is called Active Directory Domain Services. That also you can use. Or if you have an on-premise Active Directory, then you need to integrate Azure with your on-premise, maybe through a site-to-site VPN or the express route, and then it will work for you. Okay, so yeah, so poll was almost, I think there are many users who are using Microsoft RDS. And then there are some rest. Citrix is there, VMware is there, and WD is also there. Okay, so thank you for your voting. Yeah, so this is a high-level architecture which will give you an understanding how the Windows Virtual Desktop on Azure works. So you can see it in the right hand side below, right? This is a infrastructure as a service. All the compute, storage, and networking, right? So that is being managed by Microsoft, right? So that means that compute means up to the Hyper-V layer, Microsoft will manage. Storage also, if there is any faulty storage, it will be automatically replaced by Microsoft. It's an automation actually. If any disk is faulty, it will be replaced automatically. And the faulty disk is actually crushed. So there is no data leak perspective. And then all the networking also, right? This been taken care by Microsoft. There are some of the things like a VPN gateway and all that you need to install, but most of the networking within a WVD is managed by Microsoft. All right. And I see that there are many attendees who are actually using remote desktop service. So you might be familiar with all these services, which is a web access, gateway, load balancing, brokerage, management and all, right? So WVD will take all of this pain actually. This is actually a platform as a service. And whenever you are actually creating a WVD tenant, all these services are come default with that. Whether you take 10 desktop or 100 desktop, this is coming and it is managed by Microsoft for you. The section which you see in mid, right? This is what you will be actually managing. Either customer will manage, or maybe the partner like Cloud4C can manage for you. So it can be a Windows 10 Enterprise, or it can be Windows 10 Enterprise with multi-session, or if you have published some remote application like Word, Excel, or maybe the AutoCAD or something, or Tele or something, and then you can have a server also, right? Windows, if you bring your RDS server, you can bring it here also, right? So basically it will give you the control of all the desktops here, and the platform services and infrastructure services are managed by Microsoft. So this is the reason actually you can deploy it maybe in a one day, right? If you have to deploy a RDS environment, you cannot do it in a one day. You need to deploy all this broker service, load balancing, and all these services, which might take many days. So now let's see what are the prerequisites to deploy Windows Virtual Desktop, right? So one, I think there are multiple questions whether AD is required or not, right? So AD is required, but you have three options. Either you can use ADDS, which is a PaaS service, or you can deploy a VM with AD configured. So in the Azure itself, you can deploy a VM, and on top of that, you can configure the AD just like an on-premise. Or you can use on-premise AD also by integrating the Azure with your on-premise using ExpressRoute or VPN. The second prerequisite is you need to choose where you will put the FSLogix profiles. So FSLogix profiles means the user profiles. Users will be actually, so there is a security here, right? The admin will be seeing a different types of application, and the other user, let's say AutoCAD, might be able to see different application. SAP user might be able to see different application, right? So you need to find a place where you will store all these profiles, which is actually giving you the security also and the user profiles also, right? What they should be able to do on the WVD. So one option is the file server. You can create a file server, and on top of that, you can create a directory where all this FSLogix profiles will be shared. The easiest option is to use the Azure Files option, which is like a platform as a service option. You just need to create a storage account. In that, you will create a file storage, and then you can use it. But this option can be used only with the ADDS. So with this only, right? So if you're using Azure Files, you need to use Azure ADDS. The third option is Azure Native Files. So in Azure Native, Microsoft and Native has actually done the agreement, and the Native is also available on Azure now, but it is still not available in India data center. It is available in, I think, US, Europe, and Japan and Australia. I think it should be available in this quarter or maybe next quarter on Azure. So if you are in India and you want to deploy WVD in India, so you might be able to see the first two options. If you are using ADS, this is the best option. But if you are using AD option, either on-premise or Azure, then you need to configure the file server. Right. So third one is what are the credential required for making the WVD deploy, right? So this I will show you in the next slide. What are the admin credential required? It can be subscription admin, it can be an Azure AD, global admin, Active Directory administrator, or the WVD tenant admin. Right, so you can see on the left hand side is the remote desktop client. There is a firewall in between. This is what WVD admin will manage: the Windows Virtual Desktop, the web access, gateway, brokerage, and diagnostic service. All the past services are here. And you have the WVD subscription here, where you can see all the desktop, publish application, Active Directory, and the user profile file server. And you can see also the Azure AD also here. Right? So you need all the credential to deploy the WVD on Azure. So in this slide, you can see the one example of WVD architecture, how it will look like, right? So either you can select the personal desktop, you can see here, right? If you want a one-to-one relation, right? One user will have one desktop, and whenever he's not using it, it should be shut down, or maybe if you are using a reserved instance, it can work, it can be on 24/7. So this will be like a personal desktop, which you can use it for the admin resources, admin employees. And if you have some kind of a high power users who are using AutoCAD and heavy graphics, for them you can make it personal desktop. The pool user is something, all the desktops are similar, and you can make sure that the security is configured, and based on the desktop availability, it will be make available to the user. So it's a pool where it will be assigned to the user based on the availability. You can see the Azure Active Directory. You can see the FS Logic profiles where it will be stored, and the networking equipment you will require, and the file storage, right, where you will store the files and all. So native will not be available right now in India, but the other one you can use it. Right. So this is something I think most of the technical fellow will be interested in this, how the WVD authentication works, right? So you can see here, these are the different devices. Any device user can use, it can be a browser also. So when they are logging in, so you can see here the front door and the Azure Traffic Manager also. So if you have a global deployment, you can use Traffic Manager. So they will get routed to the load balancer of that particular region from the Traffic Manager. But let's say if you're not using the global deployment of WVD, let's say you're using just a single WVD deployment in India only, user logs into the WVD desktop service, and when they log in, they need to actually get the authentication done, right? So they will get redirected to the Azure AD, right? So they will enter their password here. And if you have made sure that they need to do multi-factor authentication also, then they will get redirected to the multi-factor authentication, whatever you're selecting, right? It can be ADFS, Okta, or the Azure multi-factor authentication, right? So you can have it maybe some code coming into your laptop, mobile or something, which you can configure here, right? So once the authentication is done, the user will actually get the access to the WVD environment here, right? So you can see all the file or full subscription here, which I shown you in the last slide. So here you can also see the Active Directory, right? You can either deploy Active Directory here, and then, yeah, either you can do it here, or maybe the Azure AD can actually integrate on the on-premise. So this is what your on-premise is. The Azure AD actually can connect to the on-premise AD through AD Connect. So you need to deploy something like AD Connect in your environment. So the AD, all the resources, or all the users you have configured in AD, right? So they can be authenticated from here. So there are two options here also. One is a password sync and pass through, right? So if you want to store your all the passwords here, then it will be a pass through authentication. So in that case, the user needs to log in from here, and it can be a password sync. In that case, the Azure AD will have the password also. The hash of the password will be available here, and so they will get redirected here, right? I assume it's architecture. It's a very complicated architecture, but I try to keep it simplified one, right? So how the WWD authentication works. So, and you can see the how the hybrid works, right? The VPN or the express route between this. Right. So this is an architecture we have prepared for one of the customer who has gone live. We have helped them with the WWD environment. So this customer was already using all the Azure services, data lake and IoT and all. They just needed a WWD environment because of the pandemic. All the users were working from home. So what we did for them is to deploy the WWD. You can see all the services, past services here, all the backups and Active Directory file server and the Azure file share is here. And these are all the desktop. It can be Windows 10 multi-session, full desktop, or the dedicated desktop, right? And this is all you can see the security, right? Be either DDoS, the Bastion host, the Azure Blueprint to manage the policies, the Azure Sentinel for the security, incident and event management, and the Security Center for monitoring what is happening in your security for the Azure, right? So all these things you can configure, or you can ask Cloud4C can help you in this, right? Can build a full secure WWD subscription for your right. So these are some of the value added service partner which we show, which we have seen in this one of the slide, right? So Citrix can be used, and then there is a Samsung also, right? So Samsung has something called Samsung Desktop Experience. So through the Samsung desktop application, desktop experience application, you can actually log into the Windows Virtual Desktop, and then you can have a very similar experience what you can see in your desktop. It will give you a very similar experience. If you want to get an easy provision, deploy and management of WWD, because I told you, right, you might need to use some of the automation tools, you might need to use some PowerShell and all. If you don't want to use that, then there are some options from Nerdio and all, right? You can type Nerdio in the Azure portal, and it will give you one by one, and you can deploy it. Actually, it is very, very easy, and actually you can manage it, deploying a different tenant very easily using Nerdio. Similarly, Cloud Jumper and Worksport is also there. Although I have not tried this, Nerdio I have tried and it's very good. Then you can do the monitoring, assessment and optimization using this different partner solutions. You can read all this solution here. I have given the link here. You can actually Google it out and you will be able to do it. If you want an additional security, there is an Active Cipher solution available. And if you want some different printing solution, then there is a thin print is also available, which will work with you, work with your WWD environment. Right, so now I will show you the WWD demo. Let me, I think I need to stop share first. Okay, and I need to share again. I hope everyone is able to see the Google Chrome. So how do you log into the WWD using browser, right? So you can see this, right? So if you type this ak.ms, so it will reroute to this. So this is the link. It will ask you to log in. So it is going to the Azure Active Directory. So I have this ID into this WVD tenant. I need to log into this. Right, so you will see the similar to this. So this is very basic setup where we have deployed the application of Office 365, Word, PowerPoint, Excel. Although this will not work because I think the desktop supporting this application is right now down. But I can show you the desktop which is available, not the published application. So you are already into now WVD environment, and user will get an option like this. So here you can publish any application. It can be a SAP application, it can be an AutoCAD application, or it can be a tele application, right? You can publish it here, and then user will have an option to see here. So I'll go to the desktop. Let's say I don't need to use any published application, but I want to have my own desktop. So I will click on the desktop. So you can see the option of clipboard and printer you can use. So, right, so you are logging into the desktop, WVD desktop environment now. Right, so you need to log in again, or it can be made single sign-on also. Right, so you can see all the application like Microsoft Teams, right? So some of the application, if it is not published and if you want to go into the desktop, right, is available, right? So the desktop image can be created according to your need, right? So we can upload the image to the Azure and we can use that desktop image. So that desktop image will have all the application which you are using in your organization. It can be AutoCAD, SAP, or anything, Tele or something. Right.
Dilip, I think two people have questions, Mr. Suresh Nath and Navneet. I'll just,
yes, please, if you can.
Yeah, Mr. Suresh, I think you can unmute yourself and ask a question. I think he's still on mute. Okay.
Or you can type also, maybe if you have.
Yeah, Mr. Navneet Gupta, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask.
Or maybe by mistake.
Yeah, I think Mr. Navneet Gupta can ask. He's unmuted himself. Okay, I think Dilip, you can go ahead.
Okay.
Mr. Navneet, do you have any questions?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So I'll just log out of this WVD environment. So what you can do is you get a disconnect option. You just disconnect. This will go away. And this first slide also you can sign out. Right. So now we are logged out. So I need to stop this share and I need to present the slides again. 1 second. Yeah, I hope you are able to see the slides now. Right, so demo is done. I'll go to the offerings we have right now. Right, so this is the offer we have now. We can do a POC for you actually. Let's say if you want to use it for 5 days, 7 days, for 10 users, you want to come up with the understanding whether we want to use it or not. So we have the free POC offer with Microsoft where we can actually deploy the WVD environment for you. So if you have any of this requirement, which I'm interested in WVD environment, or maybe any other WVD, or maybe we do the Amazon Workspace also, and the RDS other environment also we can do for you, right? So if you have any requirement for currently for Microsoft Azure, we have an option WVD offer is going on, and we can give a POC for you. It can be 7 to 10 days POC, and then you can decide whether you want to have a full-fledged WD environment. The second offer is, let's say if you have a very complicated environment which might need an assessment, right? So we can do that assessment without any charges right now. It can be maybe, depending upon how complex it is, it can be 2 to 3 days of session with your technical experts who are managing your desktop environment, and we can give you the solution how it will work. It can be a WVD environment, or it can be a different environment, what might suit, right? So there are different types of customer, right? Some customers are saying, I have a Citrix environment and I want to go on WVD, or there are some customers who are saying VMware. So all these options are possible. So if you think that some kind of an assessment is required, so we can do that also. We can do the free assessment in this right now. Okay, so now just trying to sell, do you want us to connect with you to explore the possibilities of using any WVD or desktop as a service solution, starting with POC? Okay, I think I see almost 67% are saying yes. We are good on time, right? Okay. Yeah, okay, I think almost 68% people are interested. So I'll give the link or email ID, or maybe you can connect with your account manager also.
I think someone wants to ask a
Mukesh
question.
Vora, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
let
you want
me
to unmute
just,
him.
yeah. Mukesh Vora, you can unmute yourself and ask a question. You can go ahead. Mr. Mukesh Vora, can you unmute yourself? Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so someone is asking for slides. Yeah, so we can share the PDF version of this to you. Someone is asking, is there any offer for free WVD for an year? No, I think free for a year will not be there, I think. So Microsoft right now, it is giving maybe, depending upon the requirement, it can be maybe 1 week or 2 week of POC. There is a question I want to ask. Can we use DWS service offline? I'm not sure offline, what does this mean offline? Because the WVD is in the Azure, at least you need the internet connectivity to access that. So if your question is on that, whether you need an internet or not, internet is required for you, because you need a browser or something to get access to the login to the Azure actually. There is a question, what is the bandwidth requirement to connect this session? So I told you, right, it's not that thing, right? So all the compute and everything will be done in the desktop only. What you are presented is the screen only, output, right? So it's not, it works very similar to Citrix. If you work in Citrix or other environment, it just send you the screen to the user and all the compute and all, right, which needs, let's say, high-end configuration or GPU and all, right, it is done within the desktop and it just throws you the output on the screen to you. So this is the way how it makes the security also, and your bandwidth requirement also will be very less. Okay, there is one more question. We are using Microsoft Hyper-V VM. So will the same will continue to access through DSS? I'm not able to understand the question. We are using Microsoft Hyper-V VM, maybe in on-premise. So I'm not sure whether you are using the VM in Azure or on your on-premise. So you can bring your image on the Windows Virtual Desktop, same image. Even if you are using as a Hyper-V VM desktop, same image you can get it in the Windows Virtual Desktop. Yeah, so someone is asking for the recording of this session.
Dilip, let me just enable Mr. Tarun Kumar's audio and then probably he can ask the
Offline
question.
means suppose internet is not available in rural plants, somehow MPLS goes down during the office time. So how the users will be able to access?
Yeah, Mr. Tarun Kumar, I've enabled you. You can directly
Yeah,
ask a question. Go
yeah,
ahead.
I got the question, but yeah, I already answered it. Because you need internet at least to connect, at least the bare minimum connection is, even the mobile connection will work. You can use it through mobile also, like Samsung desktop experience you can use to connect to the WVD, or you can use simply browser in your mobile and then you get connected. Okay, so okay, so I think we are almost. Right, so these are some of the self-assessment, right? Whether you need the WVD or not, right? Let's say you need the ability to add users quickly and easily, WVD can help you. If you want to scale efficiently on demand, right? Whenever, whatever is demand is there, you want to do. And the third one will be your end user need a seamless, rich client experience with Microsoft services like Outlook, Search, Cortana, OneDrive, Skype. Then WVD can be a good option for you. You need to manage, let's say, different deployment types across different deployment planes. So you can create different WVD tenant, and then you can use it. You can bring the RDS into here. You can support the both persistent and non-persistent environment. If you need, let's say, the integrated security using 365 and AD, you can do that. Yeah, one point which I forgot is you can bring your Windows 7 legacy application also. There are some customers who are still running the application on Windows 7 legacy, which is actually is end of the life, right? But Microsoft will support that Windows 7 on Windows Virtual Desktop or on Azure till 2 more years. So they will provide all the security patches for the Windows 7, and that is possible on Windows Virtual Desktop or Azure. This is not possible on any other cloud or on in the on-premise environment. Or let's say you are in a regulated industry like pharma, government, or the finance and insurance, you can meet the strict compliance requirement. Let's say your virtual desktop require reuse of existing investment like Citrix or VM or something, you can consider this option. Or you want to reduce management and deployment cost for your virtual virtual windows, and you can consider that instances will be actually can be brought into the Azure, and you can use that. Right. So these are the typical scenarios where customer might find this interesting, and you can do the self assessment on based on this. Right. So we'll be happy to get connected with you if you are interested. So these are some of the links if you want to understand, if you are a technical person and if you want to understand. So there are some of the documentation available. You can understand how the WVD deployment can be done. And there is a YouTube channel also, which you can actually go through and understand technically how you can deploy it. Right, so I think I'm on the last slide. If you have any question, please shoot to me. You can connect us at this email ID. If you have if you find this interesting that it can be required in your organization, please contact us at this email ID, or you can connect with your account manager. Anyway, I think they might connect with you also. So you can provide your interest to them, and we can talk on this, maybe through some offers which we had already discussed. So any questions coming up?
I think we have another question. Is there any extra charge of Office license on WVD?
Yeah, so there are no extra charge of Office license on WVD. If you already have, so I think there was one slide which is missed, but I can take it up now. So if you are having any Office 365 license or any Windows Enterprise license, right? So that is actually portable to Azure as it is. So let's say in this pandemic, all the desktops are lying in your office and it has been not used. If you want to bring that license onto Azure, it is possible, because Microsoft will not allow you license at both the place, but they will at least allow you at the one place. Be it Office 365 or Windows Enterprise licenses, you can bring that, and you don't need to pay on the Office license or the Windows license. I hope it is clear. Right, so yeah, so we can, if you are interested, I can send you the slide also, which covers what are the different licenses which you can bring as it is in Azure, actually Azure or WVD environment. How we are doing in time? Okay, we are almost more than 1 hour, right? Yeah, so PPT slides, yeah, what we will do is maybe we'll create a PDF file. It's a big slide, more than 40 MB. Maybe we'll create a PDF and maybe we can send it to you. Recording, I'm not sure. Are we sharing the recording? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, slides we will share with you. Okay, I think Siley raised hand again. Do you want to unmute her?
Yeah, she can talk.
Hello. Yeah, I just wanted to understand that in case if the size of the PDF is large, you can just keep it on FTP site, and then from there we can just download it if it is more than 40 MB, because everybody might not be having that
Yeah.
storage of.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can put it into the any file directory, and then we can send you the link. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, so we can download from there.
Sure, we can do that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Recording in PPT, yeah, we'll send it to you. Yeah, we'll send the slide also. Any questions regarding the offers or anything related to WVD? I think right. So if there are no further questions, we can One second, there's one question. If I don't have any Microsoft license and want to build a complete infra from the scratch, do we need additional license to be procured? Yeah, so if you don't have any Microsoft license, you need at least the Windows license you need. Let's say if you don't want to use Office 365, then it is not required. But at least the Windows licenses are required. So either you can bring your own licenses, let's say, which are not being used in pandemic situation, that you can do it. But if you don't have any licenses, or if you need more licenses, then it needs to be procured. Okay, sure. We'll send the slides. Yeah, so it can, the Windows licenses can be provided by Cloud4C. Yeah, we can do that. So maybe you can connect with the account manager, or maybe you can drop a mail to this email ID and we can connect. Maybe 1 minute more and maybe we can conclude this call. Okay, so thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to all of you and sharing this Windows Virtual Desktop session. Thank you very much. So I'll just stop the share. Okay, thank you again.